Hey everybody, welcome to the show.
Welcome back.
I know, this is fun. I look forward to this episode every time we do it.
Yeah. Same.
This is a listener submitted question/comment episode, which are so fun. Like, we have to pick. You guys send so many good ones that it is a labor to pick through them. So thank you for sending those in advance. But before we get to it, I feel like we can't go on before we at least offer some podcast space to Taylor and Travis. What are we going to do? Be the only ones in the universe not talking about it?
I'm so happy.
Listen, the way that my phone went off yesterday was the dumbest thing I ever saw. And every single serious journalistic outlet that I follow, all the news outlets, the channels, they were like, guys, breaking story. Like, I'm just getting this in my feed. It's like CNN.
Yes.
Anyway.
It is. It is breaking news. And it's okay to be joyful about something and also happy for people. And I'm genuinely so happy for them.
And how cute was the announcement? Your English teacher and your gym teacher are getting married. Look, I have goosebumps. This is the cutest thing I ever did see. And then I saw it today upon, like, you know, this is all rolling out by the second. That is her dad's, wait, am I getting this right? Her dad's garden.
Oh.
Her dad's garden. God.
Is that right?
Well, you know what? I'm about to tell you, but I thought it was until it came. It's either her dad's garden or his dad's garden.
I already saw some fake news coming across my feed last night, just about like speculating where things were and what day and blah, blah, blah. And then, you know, his dad gave an interview which pinned down when it happened. But there was so much that was speculative.
Like what? Give me an example.
Night. Like when and exactly where. And the ring looks like her new letterhead. So the letterhead came out before that. So had she seen the ring, blah, 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 blah. But it's just people like loving the Easter eggs and wanting to go all in. But no, I just flipped through all the pictures 100 times and texted back and forth with my friends about it.
It's so cute. Okay. Ed Kelsey, Travis's father, said they got engaged 2 weeks ago. Hold on.
I think the garden's in Missouri.
It is. Hold on. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm almost there.
Important stuff.
Oh, when the special day arrived, I got this wrong. So I'm sorry about the fake news from earlier, but this is a journalistic correction. Okay. So when the special day arrived, Travis popped the question at a garden at his home in Lee's Summit, Missouri.
Oh, his home. Well, cute.
Oh, yes, his home. Because then he said, Ed Kelsey said, they started FaceTiming me and their mother and her folks to make sure everyone knew. Right, because he plays for the Kansas City Chiefs. So, you know, he lives there. He's got a home. Well, also, can we just say, like, was that his actual, like, somebody came in and did that garden situation, right? He doesn't have a garden like that, this big meathead, right? Like, there's no way he has this beautiful, well, I guess there is.
Yeah, maybe well, first of all, things grow in Kansas and in Missouri.
Oh, that's right. I forget about it because we live in Texas.
Not like here.
That's
right. So
you
can have something that looks like that and like a home gardener can water it.
I see what you're saying.
Things grow.
And he does make enough money to have a gardener, is what you're suggesting.
And he hasn't had that house for that long because he moved when they started dating.
Did he?
Mm-hmm, for like a more secure place.
Look at you having the knowledge.
So
it's so cute. I'm so glad for them. Also, how famous a person are you when your engagement literally it immediately goes on every news channel on earth? Mm-hmm. Is there anybody else that famous?
I don't think so. Not from our vantage point. Like there are Bollywood actors who have like much larger followings that we don't even know.
That's true.
Who they are. But for us,
okay, but in America, who else would get engaged and they would break in with breaking news at like ABC nightly news?
Yeah, nobody.
I don't think so.
And I love that for us.
I do too.
Because we need something happy.
God, we need something happy. We needed some good news with some joy.
Yeah.
And also, everybody can F off who has something bad to say about this.
Yeah.
I pay you no heed. I give you no space. You are sad and you're a sad person, and go live in sadness. That's how I feel about that. Anyways, It's very exciting news for all of us. My suspicion is that this is my suspicion. One day in the near future, all of a sudden, with spare one sentence, kind of like she did, they're going to pop in and they're going to be married.
Yeah.
Like it's not going to be on the cover of here's her expensive wedding with all the fancy people and Oprah and like Michelle Obama and everybody's coming. They're going to do something like the Kennedys. Mm-hmm. Remember when they just went and had their little wedding at that tiny little chapel? There's like 25 people in there.
Which yesterday, when the news broke and it was everywhere on my feed, I realized I'm not like already salivating about wedding details and blah, blah, blah. I'm genuinely so happy for them. Mm-hmm. Like the joy is not in the spectacle of it.
Yeah.
The joy is in like two people being so perfect for each other.
I know.
And the way they found each other. It's adorable.
Cute. It's adorable.
And yeah.
Yeah.
I just want them to be happy. And
Me too.
They should elope, because can you imagine trying to plan a wedding?
I actually can't.
No.
I don't know if they can.
Mm-mm.
I don't even know if they would want to. I don't know.
They both have access to the spectacle through their jobs. And so I don't know why you need it.
That is so true.
For your wedding.
They're on Visibility Street every day of their lives. Yeah. Maybe they do something so small and like, I kind of hope that. Mm-hmm. But whatever. If she wants to throw a 10,000 person wedding, fine. I'll download that. Shit, I got up in the middle of the night for every royal wedding.
Well, yes.
So why is this any less? I submit it might be more, to be honest.
I think yesterday I was seeing banter about our American royal wedding. Like, this is it. But also, they don't owe us that. They can do what they want.
I kind of hope they don't give it to us, with a 10% part of me that wishes they will.
I don't. She said 2 weeks ago, treat your energy like a luxury item. Not everybody can afford it.
That's a nice mic drop.
And so, she doesn't owe us a public wedding.
No, and people would be so shitty to her about it, like they are about everything. But, I don't think she gives a care. She is these small people who come at her from like their dumb homes in like Iowa. I think she's like, okay, all right.
There was a prominent right wing talking head who like has his own conferences and things.
Name names.
No.
Name them.
Last night he said,
shame the devil.
Taylor, you should submit to your husband.
I saw it. Charlie Kirk. God, what a buffoon. And
then someone responded and said, like, not that we body shame. We don't.
Oh my God.
But the response was something about like, go back to wherever you came from.
God.
Oh, they're so mad about everything.
Everything.
So, of course, that's going to make them angry, but no. And then the following article or whatever was, let's think of all the reasons why he should take her last name.
Oh my God.
Like,
were they being like sincere about that?
Yeah, like, how angry would people be?
Oh my gosh. I think the male universe might just implode.
But also, why not? Like, why couldn't he? That's an excellent name for a football player. Do you see?
I had not put it together.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. But for now,
I think no one's going to change their name. That's my guess. These very evolved young adults are like, what?
Which is also fine.
It is.
These are all made up rules.
It's invented. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's enough. That's enough about that. But like, how exciting. Let's see if we can get Taylor on the podcast. Do you think she'll come?
Maybe.
Let's ask. I'm going to send an email. I'll let you know what I hear back. Okay. Back to you. This is our listener submitted episode. Yay. Yay. We love this because we think about you all the time. We're always talking to you like through this podcast. And so getting the two-way street thing going where we hear your voices and your questions and we get to respond directly to you, we love.
Yes. And y'all have been leaving the best voicemails. Some are hysterical.
Right.
A lot of them really heartfelt, honest. Sometimes we're just stopped in our tracks.
Yes. Facts.
And so we are going to keep sharing them.
Yep.
If y'all keep sending them in.
Yes, do it. And by the way, if you're like, where's this happening? Over at jenhatmaker.com, there's a podcast tab. And you'll see when you click over there, it just says send voicemail. And you just hit your button and you just recorded a little thing for us and it comes straight to us. That's how it happens. So today you are center stage on the pod. So the rest of you're going to hear from listeners who had thoughts or questions or follow-up or reviews or something about recent episodes. And you guys nailed it. So we're going to start here. We're going to start with an encore episode we recently shared with Jonathan Merritt.
That was a good one.
It's such a good one. There's a reason we chose it for an encore. And then, of course, we heard from tons of you about that one. We did the first time and even more so the second time. And so Melinda called in with a reflection on this episode. And this is what she said.
Good morning, Jen and Amy. This is Melinda from Indiana. I just finished listening to the podcast with Jonathan Merritt and the encore presentation, and holy cow, what an interview. I unfortunately missed it the first time around, so to hear it now at this point, I think for me was even more meaningful. I've been following alongside and learning from and listening way back since 2011. And so I feel like I was very much a part of that community around you guys, and to have such access to your perspective and your experience in this recent podcast was a real gift. And I definitely hope that there's more of that content. Maybe in your new book or maybe in your coming work. But both of you are just amazing thinkers and amazing leaders. And so to understand and hear from that kind of personal perspective was really meaningful for me today. So thank you. Amy, I loved hearing you speak into this, especially in the introduction, to hear how much you loved your friend and to hear how much you were speaking truth then and now was just inspiring. And so I don't know, I think it's not so much a question today. I just really wanted to say thank you. Thank you for the continued work of speaking truth to power. Thank you for the continued work of loving without limits. And thank you for doing it so publicly. Thank you for giving us the tools and the steps to do this in our own lives. And I'm excited, and I hope that we get to hear more about your leadership and transformation and faith, Jen and Amy, and just, it's awesome. All right, guys. Thanks so much. Have a great one.
That was nice, Melinda.
So nice.
Thank you for all those incredible words.
I do really like going back and listening to the older episodes when you were in the middle of things and then looking back with a new lens, like after we're through it, after other things have happened. I do think there's something to be said for like recognizing how you learned some of those lessons and what got you through the progression of whatever it is, theology or understanding yourself and therapy. Every so often to go back and think like, like what was the path I took? And like, do I need to revisit some of those things?
Yeah, I love all that. And I think what I am struck by, because that was, I mean, the story that we were talking about was located in 2016, so it's been almost a decade. What I'm thinking about is specifically is Melinda's like interested to hear more about kind of the tactical process through evolution or change, is that when I think back to that time, even though my theology and my convictions were clear internally, the process of that was so murky. It feels foggy. It feels confusing. And now, to be fair, that I did that in such a public way that most people wouldn't. But everybody has their own version of public.
Yeah,
with their family, with their neighbors, with their church community. So even though mine maybe had a higher degree of visibility, change in any life has ripple effects. And so when I think back on that season and I'm like, wow, God, that was so tumultuous and just felt so jerked around by it all. And there was so much upheaval and to some degree confusion. But almost 10 years later, I look back at it and all of that confusion has receded and it feels much clearer. And so I think I'm thinking about people who are changing their minds or their faith is taking on a different shape or whatever it is. The best advice I can give in hindsight now is, number one, let the top rung of the ladder be your sincere convictions. Don't let that be the thing that gets confusing.
Yeah.
That's the one that keep that real sturdy and real clear and real visible, and hold that one as tight as you can. Because all the rest of it that comes around it, everybody else's disappointment or confusion or discouragement or hate, and that's a possibility, that will recede. And so if you can kind of hang on to that new North Star or that evolving North Star, you will get to a place where it is far less contentious. So I think what I'm trying to say is weather the discomfort. Just weather it. Like, I had a mentor at that time, and you of course remember that year was bananas for me. And I had a mentor text me and essentially said, basically, you anchor your feet into the ground and you stand in this storm. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I won't even resist it. I'm just going to let it rage, knowing that every storm has an ending, and it did. And so for anybody who's going through that in their own life, anchor your feet down into the ground and weather it, weather your own discomfort, weather everybody else's discomfort, and whatever loss or change comes along with it. Because there will come a day when it is not that chaotic, and what you'll be left with is your integrity, and that is enough.
Yeah.
So anything to add to that?
Just that, like, you had already, your theology had been changing and growing before it became public. But I think sometimes we are forced to examine things in the middle of a crisis. Like, because something has happened and you have to confront, like, what do I actually believe?
Yeah.
And those lessons are hard because you're dealing with both the deconstruction or the reconstruction and the actual crisis that's happening. But those lessons stick also. There's a time and a place for them. But also, I think if you have a gut feeling that something that you've always accepted isn't right, like whatever that is, like it's okay to start doing the research and doing the work and studying and changing your mind before you get to a personal crisis about it.
That's good. Yeah.
Like, then you're prepared to anchor yourself because you do know what that top rung is.
That's great. I agree. I cannot agree more. Don't be afraid of the investigation. Don't be afraid of discovery. Don't be afraid of asking hard questions. I have never found that to be an indicator of a weak faith. I find that incredibly faithful behavior.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Melinda, for sending that in. That message is super meaningful. Let's hear from Tracy.
Hi, my name is Tracy Loftus Hayes. This is a very weird thing to do, and it's a little scary. I'm a divorced woman. I'm 52. I've been divorced now 10 years, single mom journey for 10 years. Our stories parallel very much. I grew up in evangelical Christian spaces, very sheltered, purity culture, all the things. Married somebody I shouldn't have married because I committed the unpardonable sin and got pregnant out of wedlock. My marriage was a train wreck from the get-go, but we stayed married for 17 years because that's what you do, right? My marriage also ended in betrayal, very public things locally. My ex-husband broke the law, was on front page of local newspapers, the nightly news. Just my life turned into a Jerry Springer show overnight. You have brought so much life to me. 25 views are, I love Jesus, but I can't be a Republican anymore. I'm not sure how I feel about the church anymore. I'm not sure how I feel about God anymore because all the answers that I've had my entire life, those answers don't work anymore. So I pop in my earbuds and listen to podcasts. Thank you for your work. Thank you for speaking into so many of us. You ask your guests what's bringing them life right now, and so many days you bring me life, either through something I see on social media that you've posted, something you post in your stories, something that's on a podcast. I'm part of your book club too, and your books have brought me life. But thank you for everything, and just know that there are a lot of us out there that are getting what you're putting out, and we need it. Thanks so much.
That's nice.
It is.
Tracy.
First of all, Tracy, I am so sorry you went through that.
Same.
God.
That is bleak.
And congratulations.
Yeah.
For getting through it.
Yeah. 10 years of freedom since then, probably.
Yeah, because women are capable of getting through the absolute hardest things. I mean, men are too, but you recently did an interview for the New York Times.
I did.
And one thing he asked was, like, this story arc, like, isn't it a bit of
a trope?
The same trope we always hear? And you were like, maybe it's a trope because, like...
Because it's true.
It's true.
Maybe it's a trope. Maybe the women who are betrayed story and then they grieve and recover and rebuild is a trope because that's what women do. So maybe it's not such a surprise that we can flourish. You know, you listen to it, but not included in the written interview with the Times, but over on the Daily, I said it's because women are not defined by the men who leave them.
Yes.
And so Tracy is proof positive that she's built like a really meaningful life. Back to her feelings of disorientation. Such a weird, first of all, Tracy, oh my gosh, I hope one thing that has become clear, if you're in my environment at all, which you obviously are, is that you're not alone in that, for sure. That sense of just spiritual disruption. But that the tremors of that go in every strata. I mean, there was like this sort of spiritual narrative that so many of us were handed to some degree or another. There's a lot of commonality around it. And then out of that came our feelings about our bodies, our marriages, the way that we parented, what we felt like our role in the home was, what is our career limitations. Like it had effects on every single choice that we then made out of that. And so when that middle piece gets, it's wobbled, everything else does too. Mm-hmm. It is disorienting. You've managed, Amy, like you pressed hard on forms and ideology earlier, I think, than most people in our age group, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I belonged to a church that did not believe most of what I did. But I was there for the people.
Yeah.
So, and I just kept saying, like, I see them doing the work. I think they'll get there. Mm-hmm. Community is really important. And so I'll stick with it. But no, I had already outside of church because we couldn't find a church that we both liked for the first, 7, 8 years of our marriage. And so I just said, I'm going to stop looking. It's exhausting. And I'm just going to do a lot of work on my own.
Yeah. Yeah. I want you to know, Tracy, that there is, in my experience, and your experience and mine is similar as it is in so many women's lives about this age. To some degree, I feel like I'm giving the same answer that I gave Melinda. To some degree, some of that confusion recedes a little. When it literally the dust settles. So the first dust up is just like, God, what's up for down? What's God? What's church? What's marriage? What even is true? And it's uncomfortable. And it can be it's disruptive because that affects like a lot of our relationships, but that some of that dust does settle where it does not feel so confusing. Although, I mean, my take on this, at this point, and we're the same age, I'm 51, is that every year I get older, particularly in the realm of faith and God and whatever it all is, every single year. And I mean this sincerely. I'm not trying to be kitschy. I'm like, I know a little less every year. I know a little bit less than I think I knew last year. I could have told you everything at age 30. Absolutely everything. I had an answer for every single thing that there was. And the older I get, my faith is concentrated down to something I can kind of fit in my hand.
Yeah.
I don't mean in the way that it can be like mysterious and grand. I mean in what feels certain and clear, and this is how it goes, and here's the rules of it all. And I do not know about any of that anymore. And it's nice.
It's incredible.
It's nice not to know.
It's nice to get to a point where you can say, oh, like, you want those rules for yourself? That's fine. Like, you want to participate in what sort of looks like cult-like behavior? Okay. Like,
I'm going to opt out.
The rest of us are going to have good boundaries.
That's right.
And figure out, like, what works best for us.
Yeah, I was just thinking this week, something I was watching. Oh my God. Okay, we're going to have to put a pin in this for a whole nother conversation sometime. I was watching the second season of Shiny Happy People. Do you know about this?
I watched season 1, but it made me too mad.
Yeah. Season 1 is so located with the Duggar family. It's season 2 is all about youth group culture in the 80s and 90s that we came up through. Acquire the Fire, all those bands, all that war language around building an army for God and creating this whole generation that thought the world was against them and their enemy. Anyway, I don't want to get into it. But I had a hard time sleeping. It was I felt so sad for young us. So sad that is what we were handed, and we were just earnest. Yeah. We were just earnest. We wanted to be faithful, and we wanted to be obedient to God, and I just felt so sad about it. But I had this clear thought, hindsight has told me that anytime a community, particularly a faith community, but even an ideology like MAGA, is heavily fixated on the rules, it's a red flag. When it is a rules-based, do, don't do, say, don't say, with punitive demarcations. Like you're going to go out of it, but you're going to lose your spot in the community. When it's rules based, something is always broken in that system.
Right.
So all that to say, Tracy, I love the questions that you're asking. And I think it is evidence of a soul and a spirit who is still searching for the higher things. And so keep going. You're not alone. And thank you so much for leaving a message for us. That was really meaningful. Let's hear from Joanna.
Hey, y'all, this is Joanna from North Carolina, and I listened yesterday to the podcast, the interview you did, Jen, with Trisha Yearwood, and I've always listened to her, maybe not a big, huge fan like you, but she's always been a part of my life, so I really enjoyed listening to her and to you. And then I was on a walk, so I downloaded and listened to her whole album, The Mirror. And I was like, okay, I'm going to pick a favorite. Little Lady was pretty awesome. But wow. Then there's The Mirror. I love that. No, I love Fearless These Days. No, I love So Many Summers. But then Girls Night In. That resonated with me so much because I've always had such a passion for women having a voice and women being unfiltered and being able to be who they are. And I love mentoring young women. I'm doing that right now with a group of about 6 gals, and it's such a privilege to let them be themselves, to encourage them. And yeah, I just love that song. The other one I really liked, because I'm going to say, still like the Girls Night In is my favorite, but the other one I really love is The Ocean and the River. These songs just really resonated with me. I have to say all of them were good. Anyway, thank you so much. And I appreciate you and your ministry to all of us women out here. And by the way, just so you know, so you get your stats collected or whatever, I'm 70 years old and I'm still listening to you, girl. Love it.
Love that.
Nice.
I love to collect my stats with our 70-year-old listeners.
And that episode you rudely scheduled.
Yeah.
When you were in Oregon.
Yeah.
And I missed it.
That sucks.
Trisha and I are like ships in the night.
I know. I love her so much. Joanna, so much same. Like when I go through that album and try to pick a favorite, I'm like, it's just one banger after another. And you know why it is? Because she co-wrote the album. Like, that is why this one is so good. She's always had such a keen ear for like picking her songs. When songwriters write for her, who wouldn't want to write for her?
Right.
She's a songwriter's dream. And so she's always had a good eye and a good ear, not just for lyrics, but for storytelling, for melody. Like she's an icon. But the fact that she co-wrote every single song on this album is, to me, it feels evident. I don't know. I feel like this is what happens when you write an album at 60. It is full of wisdom and like brilliance. Like Joanna was just saying, she mentors young women. So I'm not surprised she's drawn to all these lyrics because I feel like Trisha is mentoring women and young women with this particular album.
Yeah.
It's so good. I think I must have mentioned on that podcast that Little Lady was my favorite.
You walked straight up to me in the parking lot, said, baby, let me see the ring. She cut off my road, that's the son of a rock. He didn't hold back on the blame. You're his little lady now, honey. You can settle down and quit that music thing. You really got it cooking. Your cowboy so good looking. She talked herself to death, and when she finally took her breath, I said, lady, you know I'm not Chevy, and I put the gas in the tank. I drive it right downtown, cash the checks at my own bank. A man like mine spends his time on a woman for
Come on.
Nice.
Stop it right now. That is the best. Like, that's hard fought, you know? I mean, she's married to Garth.
Right.
So, this comes out of a real story. Like, oh, now you got a little ring on your hand. You can hang up your little music hobby.
Right.
To Trisha Yearwood. Anyway, I love that you wrote in about her. A fun fact is that when Awake, my new book comes out, obviously I launched the book tour here in Austin where we live, and my special guest / friend / moderator is Trisha. If you would have told me. I cannot. I just cannot. I don't even know what to say about it, to be honest. But the good news is, everyone, shameless plug, anybody who pre-orders Awake, we are capturing that whole night of book launch in Austin as a live stream, and everybody gets it who pre-ordered. So if you love you some Trisha, I know, isn't that cute?
I'm so glad because I planned something.
I know.
I'm leaving town.
I know. You have a life.
And then I found out about Trisha, and I'm like,
what's funny
again?
about that, Amy, is that, first of all, Amy's been at everything I've ever done. And I've drug her to so many lady things, and just for 15 or 20 years. It's so exhaustive.
So many.
But what's so funny is she's like, I planned a thing, but then I found out about Trisha. And she's like, I'm really sad to miss that. Like, you're fine. But I've done plenty with you. Like, you are not that interesting. But Trisha. I know.
But also what happens when I go to those things is I find your mom, I sit right next to her, right. I get super overwhelmed 5 minutes in.
That's right.
And so I probably will enjoy it more on a live cast anyway.
That's so true. Propped up in your bed.
Tell Trisha hi.
I will. God, one of these days, I know. One of these days. Okay.
So dumb.
Let's hear from Erin.
Good morning. This is Erin. I'm calling from Chicago. I just got done listening to your podcast with Trisha Yearwood, and I have to admit, I am not a country fan. I've never really been a country fan, but I have listened to this whole album now probably 5 times. The Mirror really struck hard, and just so grateful that you had her on, and I loved hearing your stories and her stories. And I'm kind of reinventing myself. I'm 50, I'll be 51 this year. And all of a sudden this year, after doing a few open mics in some wineries, I am starting to sing in gigs. I'm getting hired, and I'm like, what is happening?
Love it.
So I thought you'd appreciate that because I am not a spring chicken, but reinventing myself, and maybe I'll throw a few Trisha Yearwood songs into my repertoire. But anyway, thank you so much for what you do. Love it. Thank you, Trisha, and your songs. And I may have been converted. Country music. Thanks. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Listen, one convert at a time. That's what I'm out here doing. Like, banging the drum for our little Texas music and our country songs. I love that story, Erin. We love every version of Midlife Reinvention that we ever hear. It's so empowering and exciting. I love this. She's out there on an open mic. Atta girl.
Brave. So brave.
Atta girl. I'm just convinced, this is the time for us to reinvent. Look how awesome we are.
Yes, but the term reinvention seems really big and scary.
Like dramatic.
Yeah, if you're sitting at home and you're thinking, like, God, like something doesn't feel quite right. Like circumstances have changed. Like now's the time to reinvent. But I wonder if a lot of it is not like reinventing on paper, like the surface. It's just like cracking open what your potential has always been, and you didn't have like room in your schedule or the ability to see yourself in these situations, and just trying new things.
I love that.
Like obviously Erin had a good voice and was capable of doing an open mic
all along.
But now is the time for her to pursue that.
Totally. We don't have to reinvent every facet of who we are, our life, our personality, how we spend all our time. Right. It can be a lower gear than that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to take a little risk. I'm going to try something new. And frankly, the stakes are low. Like, try it. The worst thing that happens is you don't enjoy it or it falls a little flat. So what?
Yeah.
So what? I love stories of kind of risk and adventure and trying something new. And then now, thank goodness, because of how the world works, we have visibility into so many women who are trying and doing new, exciting, beautiful, wonderful, important things in their 50s, in their 60s, in their 70s. Mm-hmm. I know that that's how it goes.
Yeah.
I'm positive. Think of how awesome we're going to be in our 70s.
I know.
And now thankfully our kids have gotten this message a lot longer than we have.
That's true.
But like trying and failing and trying again is perfectly acceptable.
God, it's more than acceptable. It's how it goes.
We did not get those messages. And so we feel like we can't launch something unless it's perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's not actually true.
God, failure's such a good teacher. You're so right. Our kids are better at this than we white knuckled everything. Mm-hmm. Erin, we're pumped for you. We are so excited for you. If you work in a Trisha song into your set, you need to go back and leave us another voicemail with an update. We require it. We'd like to know which song you chose. That is fantastic. Let's hear from Kelly.
I'm kind of embarrassed to say this, but I remember watching that I Choose Me episode, age 24, and I was thinking, no, you have to choose one, Kelly. Come on. And now I'm thinking, oh, what 53-year-old me would have to tell that starry-eyed, madly in love, about to get engaged the following month, young woman. I choose to give that sweet, naive girl some grace. Now it's 24 years of a marriage and a divorce and 4 kids later, and I am finally choosing me. I have followed your journey for so many years, Jen, and our timelines very much align when both of our lives imploded. Thanks for being so vulnerable and sharing all the hard stuff. I've listened to so many of your podcasts, but this one was one of my faves, and I agree with you. Give me a woman in her 50s any day, we can solve all the world's problems.
She is referring to the episode that we did with Jenny Garth and just our iconic actor from the 80s and that very famous line that she delivered in 90210, I Choose Me. Did you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too. It's so funny because I can still feel the I Choose Me thing rub up against my indoctrination.
Yeah, like Kelly said, like that's not allowed.
I choose me. Do you want to go straight to the devil?
You can't do that. Choose a boy. You have to.
Also, choose everyone else. Choose everybody who needs anything from you. Choose the church. Choose volunteering. Choose literally everyone except you.
Yeah.
I mean, that was how to be a good Christian. Is to don't have boundaries. And if you did, that was considered selfish. Am I being hyperbolic? Maybe I am a little bit, but
no, because I think that's one thing that's so confusing to me now is because I feel like right-wing church culture now has become much more inward focused.
That's true.
I don't think the reasons were great when we were told to choose everybody else. Like it was so many of those systems could still be propped up by free labor and women pouring into it, at their own expense. But now we've swung so far to the other side.
I only choose me.
Right.
My neighbor can F themselves.
Yeah. So yeah, it overcorrected for sure. But no, that was absolutely the expected.
Yeah, it was. that was the whole die to self thing. Consider everyone else greater than yourself. And, there's truth baked into those like ancient biblical words in the context in which they were said and sort of the spirit in which they were offered. But this was, to me at least, always presented as dogma.
Yeah.
Like if somebody would have got in front of me back then and be like, I choose me, we'd have all been like, God, we need to pray for that person. That person is depraved.
Yeah.
Like they do not understand anything about God. And so also I like how Kelly said, it's not either or. Like we can choose each other. We can choose our marriages. We can choose our children and our neighbors and our friends and our families, and also choose ourselves.
Yes.
This is not a binary concept. Complete self-erasure is not tenable.
No.
And it has disastrous implications. Maybe not immediately, but eventually, in which you are completely erased from any given relationship or context. The amount of resentment that will ultimately build up, that will head for a break. So if you are erased somewhere in a relationship, in a marriage, in a church context, at a job, it doesn't really matter what it is. Heads up, because that cancer will metastasize inside your body until it comes out every which way. And so the healthier thing is to go, hey, I can do both.
Mm-hmm.
I can choose a healthy way of living and boundaries and you and our relationship. And boy, also how cute is Jenny Garth?
I know.
Gosh, she's as cute as ever. She looks as good as she ever did.
Exactly the same.
Let's go to Laura.
Hey, I am listening to the podcast with Jenny Garth, but I'm actually calling to commiserate with Amy. I too grew up in a house that was a pet cemetery.
Bless.
So yeah, I don't think you could dig anywhere without hitting a hamster or a cat or a dog or even possibly a chicken. We had chickens a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
But also last summer, I was on my way home to Georgia from Florida, and we happened upon a box of kittens in the women's restroom of a rest stop in South Georgia.
Yep.
And I had my 4 kids with me. So there was no way I was not going home without one of those kittens.
Yep.
So yes, we did. Flea infested, probably 5 or 6 weeks old. And we named her Daisy Duke. So Amy, I see your Billy the Kitten.
Yeah.
Well done. I also would not have been able to turn that kitten down. So anyways, love y'all. Bye.
Oh. Laura's your person.
First of all, it's diabolical to leave a box of kittens in a women's restroom. Like,
why did they leave it in the men's restroom? Shocker.
I mean, it's brilliant, but also, like, light a candle for any lady who has to stop and pee in that bathroom.
With her 4 kids. Can you imagine the way our kids would have howled?
Oh my gosh.
If we left those kittens in that bathroom? They would have come unhinged.
Yeah.
Laura had no choice.
No.
She was taking those filthy, flea-ridden kittens.
And now, I think I've said, like, Brad and I will look at each other and say, how are we the kind of people that have 3 cats now?
What happened? What happened?
I feel like there's a line at 2. 2 is normal, and more than that is not.
And I think 2 is absolutely on the outer edges of sanity. The outer edges. It's fine.
But
this is who you are.
It is. And it's fine, actually. It's entertaining.
Did we say in that episode, did I force you to try to put a number on how many animals you think are buried in your backyard? Because it's not just you. It's the last generation too. The Harden family has lived in that home since what year?
76.
Since 76. So
I did actually make a list. I don't know if we talked about it.
I don't remember either.
On the Jenny Garth one, but yeah, for one of your books, you asked me for a number and I was like, well, I can't just make that up.
No.
not going to.
If you were me, you would just invent something. It would be inflated.
No, I got a legal pad out.
You did?
And interviewed like the in-laws.
Are you serious?
And my children, and came up with a working list. I think at the time was like 42 or 43. But that's been a long time.
That is so many.
That was an old book.
That is so many.
I know.
But also, for the listener, like, it does also include like chickens and stuff like that.
Hamsters. Things,
But also
goldfish.
Whole dogs.
Yeah, I know.
Whole dogs. I mean.
But solidarity, Laura.
Okay, Laura.
Have a nice life with Daisy Duke. That's adorable.
It's pretty cute. I will. Fine, it is. Let's end this episode with Sarah.
Hi, Jen and Amy. My name is Sarah. I'm 51. I love the podcast. Question that always comes up is, I'm an empty nester, 3 kids, married. I'm a teacher. How, as an adult, do you get to establish new friendships? I have about 3, okay, maybe 2 rock solid girlfriends. They are not friends. I've tried that. And as I listen, I hear become friends with your friends' friends. Tried that. I also have tried to become friends with some of the gals that I work with, and either they're already established in their friendships and, just to be honest, don't need more friends, but are a delight to work with. I am not interested in going to a local church event to find and establish friends. I don't really have neighbors that I jive with to hang out with. And I'm a likable person. So just wondering what you guys recommend in this new phase. I can't wait to read Gretchen Rubin's new book about empty nesting. But it's kind of hard. Everybody's a little bit to themselves. So I do spend a lot of time valuing and growing the 2 friendships that I value so dearly. So that's all I've got. If you could help give some wise tips. I literally read every book you say to read. And I don't know. I'd love to hear. Thanks.
I like how Sarah's like just on a walk. She's like, I'm on a walk outside in the blowing wind. I'm a little bit out of breath. This is a great time. I'm going to call the girls and leave them a message to see what they have to say. Oh, Sarah, this is so common.
It's a tender thing to talk about.
It is.
It really is.
And she's our age, so she's like right here in this space.
But she has 2 dear friends. When I heard her message the first time, it made me think about a conversation you and I had years ago. I mean, like in the beginning, I think. I had in between public school and homeschool, I sort of had a window where I didn't have very many friends at all. And that feels weird and wrong, especially if you've had built-in friends through school and then work. And then, when you have little kids, if you don't have the capacity to be friends with the other moms in the preschool hallway, it can be actually a lonely time, even though you're surrounded by people all the time. But then we joined a church, and I had like a new, bucket of people that I was social with, but not really close friendships. But anyway, I was talking to you about it and frustrated and felt like I should have more close friends. At the time when my kids were really little, most of the people that lived in my neighborhood were my in-laws' age.
That's right.
No one ever moved.
That's true.
since then, I have really close neighbors, like as new families moved in, and I've established friends through my sister. So in the Metroplex. So now I have like a lot of great friendships, but back then I felt like I should have more, but I didn't really have the capacity. And you and I talked about it, and I do not think this was your metaphor. I'm sure I heard it somewhere, but I talked about like those Lego base plates, like the little green squares that you can put Legos on. And I felt like you had this giant Lego base plate because you had both the capacity and the actual friendships, you know, like 10 or 15 close friends. And, you know, I had 2 and felt like that wasn't enough. Like I should have more. And then I realized I just have a smaller base plate. Like I didn't have the capacity at the time. And then that was okay. And then what I focused on is not trying to make every new person I met at church or in my homeschooling community, not trying to make everybody a super close friend, but nurturing the few that I had, and then building everybody else on like that second layer up.
I love that.
And then that's okay.
It's so funny because your base plate has grown over the years and mine has gotten smaller.
I know.
We're somewhere closer to the same. But I think that is a great metaphor because in many, many cases, 2, as Sarah said, very dear friends is riches.
Yeah.
Like that, if you are that close to 2 people, even though those are 2 separate friendships, that is precious and can be enough if you allow it to be, for sure. This is a common pain point in the middle of life.
Yeah.
For a lot of reasons. And it coincides weirdly at the same time when it's hard to make new friends. We're just not in as many environments as we were when we were younger, and we were actively involved in a dozen environments because of a million reasons. Like our lives get a little simpler and a little bit streamlined the older we get, and thus there's just less people around. But I really like that metaphor that you just gave.
Yeah.
To maybe just consider the base plate. What's my capacity? What's my season of life? Do these 2 little Legos on my smaller base plate bring me a lot of joy and connection? Because if so, celebration.
Yeah.
Like you're not doing something wrong if you don't have 10.
Exactly. And we know so much now about longevity and overall health in community. Like having community,
for sure,
having socialization is so important. But I think now is the time, like when people are empty nesters, that we think back to what our moms and grandmothers did. Like they played cards with the neighbors.
That's right.
Or they took an art class or something social like that, where you can meet people and fulfill that need for community. But that doesn't not everybody has to funnel down into being like
best friend,
your person who knows where the bodies are buried.
Yeah.
I think we benefit from all layers of those relationships.
I could not agree more. There's some really interesting data around that too. Why can't I? Well, somebody will know what I'm talking about and you'll be able to tell us in the comments, but there was some research done in the last few years that had a really interesting correlation to this whole loneliness epidemic, where if we're going to take it from a positive spin, meaningful connected relationships are the greatest predictor to longevity that exists, more so than smoking, drinking, and obesity combined.
Yeah.
Loneliness is a greater predictor of earlier death than those 3 things put together. So it is a big deal. But there was some research that came around that said I don't remember how the language was put, but almost like some of our surface level relationships with the people that we are friendly with and just say hi to and know, at an inch deep instead of a mile deep, those contribute to connection.
Yeah.
They're not meaningless. Like, I think for a long time we were told you've got to have depth everywhere. like if you don't have depth, it's not real. It doesn't count. There's no benefits to it. But that's not really what what the research is showing, that connection has a lot of volumes. And some of them are where the bodies are buried. But even up a few layers and even up at the top layer, those also can really contribute to our emotional health, that we are just in positive, friendly connection with a lot of people. And I found that really, really interesting, having been told for a long time that was almost indicative of a shallow person.
Right.
And it's not true.
No. And sadly, in this country, we don't have those third spaces where people gather.
Me and Sydney talk about this a lot.
Our whole country is built for cars. Everything's monetized. But the way it's been, like throughout history, is you have the town square and the market, and you pass the people when you're walking home from work every day. And those little connections, like just looking at someone in the eye and smiling and saying hi,
exactly,
do benefit us. But we have to work so hard to find those connections in this country, because we just don't have natural third places.
We don't. It's so real. And that's a loss, and we're lesser for it.
Yeah.
For sure. Anyway, I think, Sarah, that you sound fun. And so I think your two best friends are lucky. And
Absolutely.
I bet you are interesting, and I bet you are sparkling. And so I love that you said that you are deeply nurturing those two relationships. To me, that is incredible and special, and good on you. So you guys, okay, listen, as you can see, we can only ever pick like 6 or 7 of these because we'll be here for days.
Yeah.
But we love your messages. We just cannot say it enough. Thank you for leaving them. You are the reason we have a podcast. You're the heart of this podcast, or else we're just two girls talking into microphones. So we appreciate you sharing your stories with us. We appreciate anytime that you are kind of tender with us or authentic, or I don't know, it just means the world. And so thank you for taking the time to make our podcast a two-way street with you. Super special.
Yeah. So if you ever have an inkling that you want to share something, just go over to jenhatmaker.com/podcast, hit the little button, leave us a message, and we will hear it. So
we will definitely hear it. And as you see, it may end up on our next listener submitted episode, which we love. And also you love. Every time we have put out a listener submitted episode, it's like humongous traction with the community. So you like hearing your own voice. And so bring us your messages, you guys. More to come. All right, you guys, thanks for being the very, very best community that there is. We sure love making this little podcast for you. Make sure that you are following the show wherever you listen to these, that you've like added it to your library. And thank you so much for when you rate and review the show. That means a lot to podcasts, and those tiny little things that you do help ensure that our podcast gets to keep going. And so we're grateful for every little bit of investment that you give into this show. All right. See you next week.